My beloved, as a messenger of the living God, I stand before you with a word that can change the atmosphere of your entire life. What I am about to share from Psalm 91 is not theory, not tradition, but a living truth that carries healing for your body, peace for your mind, and protection for your soul. If you will stay with me until the end, I believe the Spirit of God will wrap you in His shadow, lift the heaviness from your heart, and send you out walking in a strength you did not have when you came in. This is not just a sermon, it is a divine appointment for your breakthrough. When the first light touches the earth, something sacred is taking place. Heaven itself opens its eyes over you. The night has passed, and God has given you another sunrise, another breath, another chance to walk in His will. That is not an accident. That is not routine. That is holy ground. And the question is, how will you step into it? Will you rush into the noise of the day without a word to the one who gave it to you? Or will you stop, stand still, and recognize the presence of the Almighty before you take your first step? Psalm 91 begins with this unshakable truth. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. This is not simply poetry. This is a spiritual law. And the secret place is not found in the chaos of your schedule. It's not in the scroll of your phone. And it's not in the rush of your plans. It is found when the soul bows low, in the stillness before the King of Kings. The morning is the doorway into your day, and if you let the enemy slip through first, he will shape the hours ahead. But if you open that door to God first, His shadow will cover you, His hand will guide you, and His peace will anchor you. That's why your first moments are not to be wasted. They are to be given, offered, surrendered. You are standing on holy ground the moment your eyes open. The question is, will you recognize it? Some of you have been wondering why your days spiral into worry, why your mind is restless before you've even had your first meal, why the heaviness sets in before you leave the house. The answer is not complicated. You've been stepping into battle without your armor, waking into war without reporting to your commander. Psalm 91 was never meant to be just a passage you've heard. It is a place you must live in, and that living begins in the morning. Who dwells? That means it is not a quick visit. Dwelling is permanent. Dwelling means this is where you stay, this is where you begin, this is the address of your heart. You don't just pass by God's presence like a tourist on the street, you build your home there. When the morning comes, you do not simply say a rushed prayer on your way to the next thing. You linger, you remain. You plant your feet until your soul knows it is covered by the shadow of the Almighty. You see, the morning is not just another part of the day. Spiritually, it is the foundation. If the foundation is cracked, the building will crumble. If the foundation is steady, the storms can come and the house will still stand. That's why the first thoughts you think, the first words you speak, the first voices you hear, they will set the tone for everything that follows. If the first voice you listen to is the voice of the world, you will be shaped by fear, pressure, and distraction. But if the first voice you hear is the voice of your Father, you will be shaped by faith, peace, and purpose. Child of God, there is a reason the enemy wants your mornings distracted. He knows that if you begin the day in the secret place, you will walk in the shadow all day long. He knows that if you start in the presence of God, you will carry that presence into every conversation, every challenge, every decision. That is why the war for your life is often fought in the first hour you are awake. So I ask you, what do your mornings look like? Do you awaken and instantly grab for the news, the notifications, the noise? Or do you awaken and open your spirit to the Most High? When Psalm 91 says, "He who dwells," it is speaking to a choice, and that choice must be made daily. No one else can make it for you. Do not treat the morning lightly. The manna God gave Israel fell in the morning, not in the afternoon, not in the evening. The provision of His word, His strength, His promises, they are fresh at the dawn. And those who went out late found nothing. Do you see it? The morning is not just a time, it is an invitation. It is God saying, "Meet me before the day meets you." You may say, "But I don't have time." No, you don't have time not to. The hours you spend chasing answers, calming anxieties, fixing mistakes that could have been prevented by His guidance, those hours will far outweigh the minutes you give Him in the morning. This is not about adding religion to your schedule. It is about aligning your heart with heaven before the world lays its hands on you. Psalm 91 promises protection, but that protection begins where? In the secret place. And the secret place is not entered casually. It is entered deliberately, reverently, with expectation. When you rise and choose to give Him your first attention, you are stepping into holy ground. That is where He speaks. That is where He covers you. That is where He sets His angels over you. And this is the beauty. When you dwell there in the morning, you don't leave it behind. The shadow of the Almighty moves with you. The covering you receive at dawn stays over you when the sun is high and when the night falls again. So tomorrow morning, no, not tomorrow, the very next time you open your eyes, before your feet touch the floor, remember you are on holy ground. Lift your heart before Him, whisper His word. Let Psalm 91 be the first sound your mind hears. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And stay there until you know, not feel, not hope, but know that you are under His shadow. Then rise and walk into the day, covered, who dwells in the secret place of the Most High. Those words are not casual. They are not meant for someone who drops in on God when it's convenient. They are not for the one who comes to Him only when trouble comes knocking. They are for the one who dwells. Dwelling is not visiting. Dwelling means you've unpacked your bags. You have moved in. You have no intention of leaving. You have chosen to make the presence of God your permanent residence. And the truth is, many people admire the promises of Psalm 91, but they do not live in the conditions of Psalm 91. You cannot expect the covering of the Almighty if you will not remain under His shadow. Let me ask you, where is your dwelling place? Where does your mind run when you are afraid? Where does your heart go when you are uncertain? For some, their dwelling place is fear itself. For others, it is self-reliance, always trying to figure out everything on their own. But for the one who truly knows God, the secret place becomes the only place they run, not just in the morning, not just in the crisis, but always. Abiding is a decision, not an accident. It does not happen simply because you own a Bible or because you attend church. It happens when you set your heart to remain in His presence, no matter what the day brings. And this is the call of Psalm 91, to live so close to Him that the enemy cannot tell where you end and where God begins. To live so near that His shadow is the atmosphere you breathe. You see, shadows can only cover what is close. If you step out from under the shadow, you step into exposure. And spiritually, when you wander from the place of trust, obedience, and intimacy with God, you step into a territory the enemy loves, the territory of self-dependence. That is where fear can creep in. That is where lies can take root. That is where you start thinking you are on your own. But dwelling under his shadow means you refuse to live anywhere else. It means when fear calls, you do not answer. You remain in the secret place